Welcome, Pewter Report readers, viewers, and listeners to a brand new edition of the Pewter Report podcast, energized by Celsius, the official energy drink of PewterReport.com. This is a Pewter post-game show as we're going to recap the Bucs losing 41-31 to the Baltimore Ravens on Monday Night Football in Tampa in this game. But really the biggest story is the injuries to Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Godwin's coming with less than a minute to go in the game. The Bucs still down 10 points. So a huge punch to the gut and a lot to talk about in this game. So I'm your host, Matt Matera. Joined with me live from Raymond James Stadium is SR, Scott Reynolds. And Scott, at this point, it almost feels like the game itself is an afterthought. And, it's all about Mike and Chris and what this means for the Bucs moving forward.
Yeah, this is a tremendous. I don't want to say death blow to this season, but I mean gut punch. A gut punch doesn't even seem like it's fitting for what happened tonight. It's one thing to lose Mike Evans early to a re-aggravation of that hamstring, something we talked about prior to the game. Will he be able to finish? Started off with the bang with the touchdown. But after his first touchdown, looked like he had a second touchdown coming, but that was not to be. He dropped the touchdown. Certainly cannot blame him. I mean, he was grabbing his hamstring like it had just been torn from his leg. And then Baker Mayfield throws a game momentum swinging interception in the end zone to Marlon Humphrey just 3 plays later. And that really kind of swung momentum towards the Ravens in this one. And, the thing, too, is I tweeted about this in the third quarter. This team was down by more than 17 points at the time, but they were down 17, I believe, when I tweeted this out. The Buccaneers defense simply could not stop the Ravens at all. And this was not going to be the comeback. It was not in the cards tonight. At no point in time did it look like this team was going to come back, even when they had the onside kick. This was not meant to be. I tweeted out, it's time to wave the white flag. And this is a long season.
Yeah.
You've got a game against the Atlanta Falcons coming up on Sunday here at Raymond James Stadium. And now you don't have Chris Godwin likely for the season with a dislocated ankle. That's the initial prognosis. You can see him with the air cast on that leg. And probably Mike Evans not for this Falcons game. That re-aggravation of the hamstring looks like it's going to be probably a couple weeks. I mean, if Jamel Dean is out, if Jamel Dean's on injured reserve with his hamstring injury, I got to think the way Mike was reacting after almost making that touchdown, that this is catastrophic to this team's chances. And listen, I've praised Todd Bowles when it's been worthy, and I've criticized him when it's been worthy. And I asked him point blank tonight, did you not have a responsibility to protect your players? We're not going to win this game with 43 seconds left. They're lucky that Baker Mayfield didn't get hurt too, because he was taking some sacks at the very end. I said, put Kyle Trask in the game, pull your starters. I mean, you saw earlier this year, Antoine Winfield Jr. was out for a month at the end of a meaningless fourth quarter against Washington when the game was clearly in hand. And I don't understand Todd Bowles' penchant for protecting his players. And this should have been avoided, Matt, that Chris Godwin, if you lost Mike Evans early in the game, you cannot afford to lose Chris Godwin when you're playing the Falcons for the NFC South title on the line next week. Because guess what? You lose this creamsicle game, you get swept by the Falcons, and now you don't have, 65% of your passing game, I'm guessing. at least 60%. I mean, good luck. I'm not saying season over. I'm not saying season over, but you've got to make a calculated decision. This is game management. This is the area where Todd Bowles repeatedly fails, unfortunately. This is game management. This is looking ahead and saying, we're on to Atlanta. Like, I can't afford to we lost Tyke Smith due to a concussion. We lost Mike Evans. This has been a season where the injury bug keeps biting this team. You have to protect your players. You have to protect your team. You have to protect your chances of winning that Falcons game at home. And now that looks to be in peril.
And I think you were spot on in the post-game press conference with Todd Bowles. I believe it was you had asked another question about, because of the injury to Mike Evans earlier in the game, wouldn't it make more sense to preserve Chris Godwin, knowing that you might have Mike Evans out for Atlanta based on how the injury was earlier in the game? And, I understand wanting to play until the end, but you are still down 2 scores. You can't risk Chris Godwin in that situation. If it was a 1-score game or you kick a field goal and then you have a chance for a Hail Mary, then fine. Throw out Chris Godwin in that situation. But it wasn't the case. Like, they weren't even in field goal range with under a minute left trying to, get to the finish line of this game. And they could have gone into Atlanta without Mike Evans and still, pulled off a win. We saw the Bucs beat Detroit in week 2 without Antoine Winfield Jr. and Luke Gedeke. So it can be done. But the way the season is looking, and it's not over, they're 4-3. But here's the thing. Winning the division is so much more important this year because the NFC North is really damn good. And, everyone in that division seems like they're going to make the playoffs and get those wild card spots. The Bucs get a little lucky with the fact that the Saints are essentially done. It's only a 2-team race with Atlanta. But you lose on Sunday, and the fact that you don't have Mike, and you certainly won't have Chris Godwin for this game and maybe for the rest of the season. Oh, and let's remember, Chris Godwin's been the best receiver for the team this year, not even Mike Evans. You lose on Sunday on a short week to Atlanta, and you're down 2 games. And, oh, by the way, isn't this the same Atlanta team that just 2 weeks ago you let Kirk Cousins throw for over 500 yards? Well, the defense didn't look too good tonight either. So now the Bucs can't get into a shootout because you have no one to throw the football to. I like Sterling Shepard and Trey Palmer and Jalen McMillan when they're wide receivers 3, 4, and 5. Sure as hell known as wide receivers 1 and 2. So, this is just another example in a long line of Todd Bowles making silly decisions or not making any decisions at all, whether it's, I don't know, clock management going back to Tom Brady's last season against the Cleveland Browns when they lost a game against Cleveland, when he butchered that late in the game, not calling a timeout. We can even go back to the playoff game against Detroit when he didn't call a timeout to force the Lions to kick a field goal. We've talked time and time again about failing to remove starters for other reasons when they're not playing up to their capabilities. I don't know. KJ Britt's kind of ringing a bell right now. And then this is the worst of it all. Having Chris Godwin injured. You already had Mike injured in the game. Tyke Smith hurt as well. But there was no sense in a 2-score game. Again, 1-score game, completely different. But a 2-score game with less than a minute to go, no timeouts, and you're not even in range to score one way or the other. To get Chris Godwin hurt, and not just injured, but on one of the last plays of the game, and his season's done after what he's done. It's devastating. It's heartbreaking. And Bucs fans have every right in the world right now to be angry and honestly pissed off at Todd Bowles.
Absolutely. Yeah, and here's the thing. I get players play, right? In football, trust me, I've played, I've coached it, I've covered it for 3 decades. On any given play, anything can happen. And we've seen guys go down and out for the season with non-contact injuries, okay? Like stuff happens, right? At the same time, though, it is a coach's job to protect his players from themselves at some point in time. And you have to make calculated decisions. Let's not forget, John Harbaugh, with the Ravens up 10, pulled Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Right. And put in Josh Johnson. Why? Because he knew the odds of the Buccaneers coming back were slim to none. Okay. Like almost impractical. Okay. The Buccaneers were not going to win this game. They were not. And you have to make a calculated decision, because how many times have we heard it from head coaches' mouths, including Todd Bowles? This is a marathon, not a sprint, right? This is a full season. The Bucs season's not over yet. Okay. At least they've got a running game, and they've got three guys that we saw tonight can be weapons, running it and catching it. We're going to see how good Liam Cohen is. We're going to see how patient Baker Mayfield can be, because he admitted tonight when I asked him, did you try to force it? He's like, yeah, I tried to force, that second interception was my worst one of the year, trying to force things. And that's Baker's nature, right? He wants to, when you're down 14 points, he wants to get it back in one play sometimes. That's still that over-competitive nature. We love the competitive nature for Baker when it works, but the over-competitive nature sometimes works against him and the team. And we kind of saw that tonight. He got greedy in the end zone, right? He's going to have to be super patient. He cannot turn the ball over. The Buccaneers don't have any room for error without Mike and Chris against Atlanta. He is going to have to squeeze every bit of productivity, and Liam Cohen's going to have to put a masterful game plan in. They're going to have to take this play-by-play, possession-by-possession, and get first downs, drive the ball, and at least they've got a running game. I mean, if you're looking for any positive or silver lining, they did run the ball for 113 yards. That's about double what the Ravens typically give up. And Rachaad White did come back, and he catch the ball and had 2 receiving touchdowns. They're going to miss Mike and Chris. There's no doubt about it. Jalen McMillan, you better grow up in a hurry, son. Trey Palmer, you better grow up in a hurry, son. Sterling Shepard, you better make some plays for your college quarterback. They're going to have to, duct tape this thing together and try to piecemeal some things. And my God, man, the Bucs defense has got to play better than they did tonight. I mean, we talked about this. The goal was to make Lamar Jackson beat them from the pocket, and by God, he did. 5 touchdowns, and the running game. They couldn't stop Lamar or the running game at the end of it. So I don't know. This is going to be one hell of a challenge, not just for Bowles, but for Liam Cohen and Baker Mayfield to play within himself, really be that accurate point guard, distribute the ball. I mean, it doesn't look great right now, right, for this Falcons game coming up. We'll see how the week progresses. But I just think at some point in time, you got to look at the big picture and say, take the L to this AFC team and move on, man. You cannot afford to lose Chris Godwin, and they lost Chris Godwin with 43 seconds left. And I'll tell you what, if this season does spiral out of control, this decision right here might end up costing Todd Bowles his job. We'll see. I don't want to talk too out of turn. Long season to go. But if this season spirals, and Matt, you bring up an excellent point that bears repeating, the NFC North is strong. They're going to get 2 teams in the playoffs, right? The NFC South might only produce the division winner. And if the Buccaneers don't beat the Falcons on Sunday, I don't see how they beat the division with Atlanta sweeping them. Atlanta would have to absolutely tank and crater, and the Buccaneers would have to keep stacking some wins somehow, some way without Mike and Chris. And I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it as of right now.
Yeah, the offense is going to look so different next week. I mean, hopefully there's just an emphasis on running the ball, and maybe running the ball only. Like maybe it only ends up with 115 yards. It's funny, like we joked, not even we joked, like, some super chats and stuff, and we'll get to everyone's super chats. But, there was jokes of like, oh, like, why don't we just make Rachaad White a wide receiver? Well, damn, he might have to be a receiver now at this point. Bucs are going to need Rakim Jarrett as well, who, they opened up the 21-day window for him. A big job is ahead for Liam Cohen, but hey, if he pulls it off, he's probably not going to be here for much longer either, because they're going to go, if that guy pulled something off with this offense, he should be the head coach of, of this team or whatever team. And, for what you said about the defense, there's no question, biggest storyline, issue, priority, everything is the injury to Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. There's no question about that. That is the number one thing that we're all thinking about, that every Bucs fan is thinking about. But if you take out the Chris Godwin injury, and obviously Mike's still very important, I would say the second biggest thing is this Bucs defense. I don't care how many sacks they get, because they started off the game with 2 sacks in a row. That hasn't made a difference. It's come in flashes, and that's nice. They just have no answers. They didn't against Atlanta, and I get it. It was a Thursday night game and everything like that. You know, they had the ugly quarter against the Saints, allowing 27 points. Yeah, there's a special team score in there. But, man, like, this is the second time in 3 weeks where they just look lost. There's no answers. Yeah, Lamar Jackson beat them everywhere. But, I mean, at times it was easy for Lamar Jackson. I mean, Mark Andrews, Baker Mayfield's best friend, was wide open. Like, making catches.
I got to go back and look at the tape.
15 yards away.
Yeah, I got to go back and look at the tape. But, I mean, initially, I don't think Jordan Whitehead had a good game at all. And I think he's kind of been a disappointment here down the stretch. Again, I reserved the right to go back and look at the game, but just watching it live, there were a couple of plays where, like the 59-yard pass to Rashad Bateman, like, what is he doing on that play? You know, the touchdown pass to Derrick Henry, he's making a business decision. He wanted no part of trying to hit Henry at the 5-yard line. I mean, there's going to have to be a pride check in this locker room on the defensive side. And I've said it before, and it bears repeating. Got a lot of nice guys on this, but really good guys, like nice, friendly guys. And I don't see an ass kicker on this defense. I don't see a fire starter. I don't see the guy that just, you know, reads himself and the other guys on defense the riot act. And you know, there's no Jason Pierre-Paul. There's no Ndamukong Suh. Back in the day, there's no Warren Sapp. There's no Hardy Nickerson. And it's a glaring need for this team. Jason Light, whether it's free agency or in the draft, has got to find somebody who is not smiling and happy and nice. Yeah, because that's not how you play defense. Defense is tough and nasty and physical, and you're trying to impose your will and, you know, beat the living crap out of the other guy. And I don't see that type of vigor from this defense at times. It's almost like this defense is a front runner. When things are going good, they're going great. But when they go bad, it's awful. And, you know, and this is Todd Bowles' defense. I mean, this is a double whammy for Todd Bowles. And I've defended Todd, and I've given him his props when it's time for that. But, I mean, you're the defensive coordinator and play caller. You're the game management guy. You're the head coach. You make the substitutions and all of that. And this was a bad night for Todd Bowles tonight.
Oh, yeah, in several ways. And the other issue is, you know, no one's walking through that door. Like, Jamel Dean's out for the next. Oh yeah, he's out tonight. Oh. He's out for the next 3 games. Yeah. You just got Kalijah Cansey back. You just got Antoine Winfield Jr. back. There's no more answers. And, you know, some people might say, oh, well, you know, they could trade for someone. Who are they going to trade for that's going to fix everything? Yeah. There's hardly any trades every single year. We've talked a ton about how Jason Light doesn't like to give up his draft picks. There's no answers for this team. So it's going to have to come from Bowles and everybody within to figure out a solution. And another really frustrating part, and this speaks to both sides of the football, I know the Bucs got screwed on that holding penalty by Tristan Wirfs where it was a touchdown to Chris Godwin. I get that. Yeah. The next drive or whatever it was, the Ravens got screwed over in the red zone. Yeah. A bad holding penalty. It was 2nd and 19. What happened? Yep. They scored on the next freaking play on a screen play because Todd Bowles was very aggressive. You're at the 19-yard line on 2nd and goal. You don't have to be that insanely aggressive. Yep. Like, they're in field goal range. You're not going to knock them out of field goal range in that situation.
Right, exactly.
And
hold them to the field goal.
You completely bit on the fake, and you allow a 19-yard touchdown where, you know, the Bucs couldn't score on a screenplay to Cade Otton on 3rd and 19. And you're not expecting that in that situation. But you gotta go an eye for an eye or a field goal for a field goal.
I agree.
In that situation. It's just silly, boneheaded mistakes. I mean, there was a 3rd and 15 the Ravens got. When the Bucs offense completely slowed down, after going up 10-0. And I know there were the bad interceptions, but man, like the game wasn't over. There's still plenty of times the Bucs weren't down by more than 14. They just couldn't do anything.
Why did Todd Bowles elect to turn down the penalty on the offsides on the punt? Okay, if you accept the penalty, that you put your offense back out there. It's 4th and 9 from the Baltimore 44. You're down 17 points. You can't stop them on defense. And I know that the defensive mentality of him is to, well, we're going to punt it. We're going to punt it down there, pin him deep, and we'll get the ball back in midfield and have another try. Well, what happened on the next play? 81-yard run by Derek.
Yeah.
Come on. You got to read the room, man. You got to read the room. Your defense is not stopping the Ravens offense at any point in this game outside of the first series of the game when they had to punt. Wasn't that the only punt of the game? No, there was 2 punts. Sorry.
There was one late. Trey Palmer had one late, but it was, you know, when the game was pretty much out of reach. It might have been after they called the timeouts.
Yeah. So my point is like that's a chicken call. It just is.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you have to lose? You're down 17 points. Try to get the 9 yards. You're already on the Ravens side of the field. You can't stop them anyway. So what's the point of giving up? What do you want to give up, a 90-yard touchdown drive or a 60? Right. Does it matter? Yeah. No, it doesn't matter. But again, I just thought that the Bulls mismanaged this game left and right, all the way down to the wire, unfortunately. I'm not blaming him for Chris Godwin's injury because football is football. It was a fluky play. He got tackled wrong. I get it. But as a head coach, you got to sit there and read the room and say, I lost Mike Evans. I cannot afford to lose Chris Godwin. We at least need him to suit up and play. And my God, if he's going to get hurt, he's going to get hurt next week against the Falcons, not in the last 43 minutes of a game that was not going to be winnable. Again, John Harbaugh knew the odds. He put Josh Johnson in the game with a minute left.
And he took out Derrick Henry, too. It wasn't Derrick Henry that was trying to ice the game. They went with Justice
He knew the game was over, but Todd Bowles didn't.
I know. I was fully expecting to see Kyle Trask in there. And you know what? If Kyle Trask leads a touchdown drive and then the Bucs are a field goal away, then all right, so be it. Then you try something else. But it never got to that point. Let's get to these super chats. And thanks to everybody staying up with us. We know it's late. It's 12:30 right now on Tuesday morning. We have over 1,000 people watching alone just on Twitter, so we appreciate that. Cali Bucks with the $4.99 super chat says, Mayfield continues to throw low balls to Mike. Hamstring was aggravated going down for the first catch. Mike is wide open. Hit him in the chest. Yeah, Baker was not terribly accurate tonight, and I just think he lost composure again in the second quarter. I'm not sure what it is. 3 interceptions last week. All those were not his fault against the Saints. 2 costly interceptions in the second quarter, both to Marlon Humphrey. Bad ball. Certainly the second one. The first one was just Bucky Irving. It looked like he was open for a touchdown. Yeah. He hesitated and then threw it. And, you can't do that against good teams. And I shouldn't say good teams. The Ravens are an elite team. This is 5 wins in a row. The Ravens are an elite team. The Buccaneers are a good team. If you beat the Ravens, you're a great team, but you're not because you lost them. And you were not in this game from halftime on. So the Buccaneers are a good team. We'll see how good they can be without Chris Godwin for the season and probably Mike Evans for at least a couple weeks. So, we'll see. But listen, Baker Mayfield, he's going to have to just play within himself and not try to force things and not be the guy that he's been in the second quarter of the last 2 games. Yeah, and it's frustrating because he does have the running game at his disposal. Like the Bucs have figured that out. I actually just saw a replay of Mike's touchdown, and he does stop, and you could tell it affected him as soon as he made the catch for the touchdown. Yeah. Thanks to Cali Bucs again for this other $4.99 super chat. As they say, Ravens were not losing the lead. There was no reason for Baker or Godwin to even start the fourth quarter. Also, a hip drop tackle is what did it. Refs? Yeah, you know what? I mean, haven't seen it in a Bucs game. Haven't seen it in other NFL games I've watched. Yeah. I know the hip drop tackle was a new rule this year, I haven't seen it called like once. Yeah. And then after Derrick Henry, or after so the Bucs scored, got the 2-point conversion. After the Ravens immediately scored right after that, it was like a little less than 6 minutes to go, whatever it was. That's when you take the starters out. I get it. You get the first 2-point conversion, and it's like you're down 16, still a 2-possession game. But they immediately scored again. So at that point, that was the true blue dagger. Is when the Bucs got the 2-point conversion, Baker to Sterling Shepard, and the Ravens immediately scored like 2 minutes after. That's when you say officially it's done. There's 6 minutes to go. You're not coming back from 21 or however much it was at that point. And that's just coaching malpractice by Todd Bowles in that situation. Thanks to Todd G for this $4.99 super chat. What do we even have coaches for? Chris never should have been out there. SR, Todd's answers to you after the game were complete bullshit.
I had to ask the questions to give him the opportunity to respond. He did. Take it for what it's worth. I had to press him, on that. And I was sitting there talking to Rick Stroud. It's kind of like, are you going to press him with this, or am I going to? Either one of us were going to, we're going to ask those questions because they had to be asked. That's our job. And give him a chance to respond. He'll get it. He'll get asked him again tomorrow. I guarantee you in the after day presser for sure.
Thanks again to Todd G. Double ups on super chats. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Todd G says less than a minute, 0 timeouts, no onside kicks, needing 2 scores. It isn't hindsight, it's math. Rest of our wide receiver corps is just a bunch of guys right now, and that would have been a good situation to get them a couple of more reps and snaps like that, especially like Trey Palmer, who had missed a couple of weeks, and Shepard, who's trying to still maintain a consistency level. I see no reason why you couldn't go Kyle Trask there with those 3 receivers.
I know.
And if you don't score, you're in the same exact situation. The Bucs didn't score on that drive anyway.
Nobody would have gone to that press conference and said, Todd Bowles, why'd you pull Baker Mayfield and Chris Godwin? Nobody would have said that. Nobody.
And it's even more laughable. And you brought it up a couple times already, but it's more laughable when the other coach has already taken out his players.
Exactly.
But no, you're going to keep your guys. And that's kind of the most laughable part.
Yeah, it's sad. You feel for Chris. You feel for Chris, man. It just
contract year.
And listen, I hate to say it. I mean, I'm not trying to pile on. I'm not trying to be callous here, but I know there's some of you that are like, got to pay Chris Godwin now. Got to pay him before his price tag gets too high. There's a reason why once the season starts, you don't pay guys because you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, look at Brandon Ayuk, same situation in San Francisco. He got paid, and before the season, and he's out for the year. And it sucks. It's a bad part of the business. The business is cold sometimes, but there's a reason why you don't do it. And trust me, if Chris would have had this 1,500-yard year, 10 touchdowns, you've seen Jason Light. You've seen Mike Greenberg. They like writing those checks to Antoine Winfield Jr. and Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans and Tristan Wirfs. They're fine. You perform, and you cost them a little bit more money because they waited to pay you. They'll write that check. Glazers will write that check. But that's why you do it, because you have to see how the season plays out. Injuries suck. They're a bastard, man. They are, and they've been biting. They've been biting this team all year, and this is just. I'm telling you, this is one of those years. They do not have the injury bug repellent. It is just one of those years. You just feel it coming from week 1. Gedeke, Winfield. It just one of those seasons. It sucks.
Yeah, nothing seems to be going right. It's very frustrating. It's annoying, and sometimes you can't help it. You could with the Godwin situation, but
But we'll see it. We'll see if Trey Palmer can rise up. We'll see if Jalen McMillan can rise up. We'll see if Cade Otton can rise up. We'll see more Devin Culp. He'll get used more. We'll see how creative Liam Cohen.
Right. I mean, we saw Sean Tucker make the most of his opportunity. Now somebody needs to have their Sean Tucker moment, and hopefully it's the younger guys. Like obviously Sterling Shepard, I don't think is a long-term solution. But yeah, big opportunity, especially for McMillan and for Trey Palmer as well. We have a
Yeah.
$1.99 super chat from Aiden. I'm not going to read it out loud.
No.
Uh,
No. I mean,
yeah,
and we appreciate the support, but
right. But yeah, we're not here
Yeah.
to go to that level.
Yep.
But thank you, Aiden, for the super chat.
We appreciate your
thanks
support.
to yeah, thanks for the $1.99 super chat. Thank you to SinTV1 for the $4.99 super chat. At what point are we supposed to be warming up to Todd Bowles?
Hey,
He's making
you know
it
what?
tough.
He's making it tough. He's making it tough. You know, he is just like this season has been up and down, up and down,
Yeah.
up and down. Right when you think this team is on the verge of becoming great, they smack you in the face and they say, nope, we're good. We're not great.
Right. One thing that isn't tough, though, is deciding what energy drink to have. Of course, that's a Celsius energy drink, the official energy drink of PewterReport.com. There's a lot of great flavors of Celsius. So, check them out at the closest place you can get one, which, if you need to know where that is, go to the Celsius store locator on their website, punch in your address, and it'll tell you the closest place where you can pick one up. Might be a Walmart, a health and fitness store, a Publix, or your bodega.
Bodega.
And after you keep going to your bodega and you know you love Celsius and you want to get it in bulk, you can purchase it in bulk over on Amazon with the subscribe and save. I'd recommend getting that variety pack so you could try out all the great flavors of Celsius and have it sent to your place of residence whenever you want. Just make sure you're drinking Celsius energy drinks, the official energy drink of PewterReport.com. Thanks again to everybody for the super chats as they continue to roll in. Thanks to T for this $4.99 super chat, who says, how did Bowles think the Detroit playoff game was, in quotations, over, down by 1 score under a minute, but the regular season game down by 2 scores under a minute wasn't? Yeah, I don't really have a great answer. It's just another baffling time management thing for Todd Bowles. And again, this has been something that has plagued Todd Bowles going back to his days coaching the Jets. This is something he still hasn't figured out, and I don't know why. It makes no sense at this point. I don't know if he has to hire an assistant coach just to be the time management guy, but that might be the way that he has to go. Or, I don't know, or just a coach to be like, hey, there's 43 seconds left. Maybe let's take Chris Godwin out. But I don't know. It seems like he can't handle the situation.
He's not making good decisions, and tonight was probably one of his absolute worst game management decision instances as a head coach. And it was detrimental, not just for this game, Matt, but possibly for the season, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, and we talked about like getting into the bye if they could split with Atlanta and the Chiefs and the 49ers. Now you're just like, shoot, I hope they can win one of those games. That's kind of what it's come down to now.
Here's the thing too, and again, we have to understand the gravity of the situation. I am not trying to, I'm trying to walk a line between, hey, losing Chris for the season with what looks to be like a season-ending injury that's a dislocated ankle. He's in an air cast coming off the cart. Looks like Mike Evans' hamstring injury is going to be. He's not going to be back for Sunday's game. He was struggling to come back for this game with a couple of days worth of extra rest. But the season isn't over. It would be if Dave Canales was the offensive coordinator. Just being honest, giving my honest opinion, because I don't think Dave is the only player on offense that missed a start last year. Think about this: Matt Filer. Baker, Chris, Mike, Cade, Rashad, Luke, Tristan, Cody, Robert Hainsey. The only one of those starters that missed any starts last year was Matt Filer, and he was replaced by Aaron Stinney. Slight upgrade, but still not very good, right? Otherwise, the entire offense was healthy.
Yeah.
And Dave Canales still had a hard time figuring stuff out. All right. You're looking for a saving grace. Liam Cohen is a smart guy. He's head and shoulders above Dave Canales as a play caller. Hope y'all realize that. And yeah, there were a couple garbage time touchdowns. They still got over 30 points tonight. How many times have we seen a game just kind of snowball and the score gets lopsided? They put lipstick on a pig. This was not really a 10-point game, but the final
Right.
score was 41-31. That being said, they have a running game now. They're going to have to use it and lean on it. And Liam Cohen, his job just got harder. But before I write this team off, before I write this season off, I'm going to give Liam Cohen the benefit of the doubt to see what he can come up with over these next couple of weeks until he gets Mike back. And we'll see. I'm not saying this season is over. I'm not saying that the Buccaneers are left for dead yet. I'm going to put some trust in Liam Cohen.
The Bucs deserve the opportunity to at least prove that they can overcome it. I mean, we all know what happened last year with the with the losing streak and everything. So, yeah, hopefully one way they do it, as Greg DeCruz asks, and thanks for the $2 super chat. Are we going to see the wishbone offense now? I don't know about the wishbone, but I do hope that we see a little bit more of the pony package just based on the personnel that the Bucs have, because it feels like every time that they have two running backs on the field, they find success. That might be one way you have to attack your opponents, which is forcing them to cover both running backs if it's a passing play, or not exactly know who's getting the ball on a run play. So I don't think we're at the wishbone part just yet. They still do have some healthy receivers. And it looks like they could be getting Rakim Jarrett back. But they're going to ride heavy on that three-headed monster.
Yeah, I agree.
Thanks to Furu Kawab for this $2 super chat. Is KJ the new Leonard? KJ, what are you doing, KJ?
KJ, what are you doing, KJ? I don't know, man. I don't know. Not a fan.
Yeah.
Adam Slavon, our crack young reporter, looked up the Pro Football Focus grades for inside linebackers. And KJ Britt was rated 82 out of 82. He's the worst rated linebacker, inside linebacker in the NFL.
Not good.
Not good.
Not good at all.
Nope.
And yet Bowles won't do anything about it. I don't know how many more times we need to see him, but he won't do anything. JJ Russell just chilling. Thanks to David Gonzalez for this $1.99 super chat, who says, maybe this shows us how good Liam is. Please stay one more year. It's a double-edged sword, right? Like, if he figures it out, it's going to be that much tougher to keep him as an offensive coordinator. So, tough one, but you want to go for the instant success.
I agree.
Thanks to Cam for this $1.99 super chat. Do you see us going after anyone in trading?
If the Buccaneers beat the Falcons, I think it might make things more likely because they have life left in the NFC South hunt. Again, Matt makes a fantastic point. The NFC North is stacked. Okay. There's going to be at least two teams from the North making the postseason, and with the wild card and the division champion, maybe three. We'll see. They still got to play each other, and that might churn
and
two
that
teams
it out.
But if they have a shot, in other words, if they beat Atlanta and they split with the Falcons, they have a shot. If they still have the NFC South lead, then you might get some more help, right? Then you might look for somebody to come in and help. Not, then you just save your draft picks and let the season play out, and you pick more players, because they're going to need more players.
Right,
Wide receiver,
Atlanta,
cornerback, inside linebacker, tight end.
And Atlanta just lost to a beatable Seahawks team. So, we've seen the Falcons before. I know it's a different team now with Kirk Cousins and everything, but Falcons have stumbled over themselves too. So, Sunday's very important. And maybe because things are looking so dire with the with this game going into a creamsicle game, maybe it reverses their fortune based on what the creamsicles have done for them. Thanks to T for this $9.99 super chat. It says, I think Light is scared from the AB and Devin White drama and is now overcorrecting by only picking squeaky clean nice guys. Hope he adjusts going forward. Can't be great without risk. I mean, AB was brought in because he was one of Tom Brady's guys at the time. And Devin White requesting a trade in the beginning of the year. I know there was drama revolved around it, but if you compare that to all the other crazy, chaotic stories with other players, like Devontae Adams getting traded already this year, the IU contract situation, there are a lot more wilder and scandalous stories like that versus Devin White being like, I want out of here. So
I think the biggest thing is, Jason doesn't want to draft guys that he has to worry about getting a call at 2:00 in the morning from Duke Preston, who's the kind of player relations guy in the team, saying, hey, we have an arrest. Like that's what Jason doesn't want. He doesn't want guys that the Austin Safarian Jenkins is, the turds in the locker room like Chris Baker. He doesn't want those kind of guys. Doesn't mean that you can't be a nasty SOB. Jason Pierre-Paul was, and Ndamukong Suh was. I mean, they got rid of it. He got rid of a nice guy, Gerald McCoy, one of the nice guys in the world.
Yeah.
For Ndamukong Suh, who had a bad reputation. And Suh helped this team win a Super Bowl. Didn't show up in the police blotter because he's not that kind of guy. He just is a hard ass who held players accountable. That's what this team needs. Yeah.
No, you're spot on. Not much more needs to be added. Cam, thanks for the $1.99 super chat. Says if Matt Scott were coaches, we'd be 17-0 every year. I would love to think so.
I appreciate that, but we're really just Monday morning quarterbacking, aren't we? A little bit. I mean, that's kind of the job of the media. Is to, I appreciate the sentiment though. Sometimes we do know more though. It seems
right.
Unfortunately.
I mean, in fairness, you called out sitting Chris Godwin before he even got close to the situation that happened.
So. Yeah, third quarter. Yeah.
Thanks to JJ Stevens for this $2 super chat. Hip drop tackle should get you ejected. I don't know about that. If you consistently did it in a game, maybe, but one time I don't think so. It's just it sucks. It absolutely sucks what happens, but it is what it is at this point. Thank you to Medit app for this $5 super chat. Difference in coaching between Harbaugh and Balls is immense. Kick from 4 to go, 10-0. Bowles doesn't know analytics. Harbaugh goes on 4, up 17. Horrible decisions. Fire.
Yeah, again, when the game is still kind of within reach, I didn't understand it's 4th and 9 now. You accept the offsides on the punts that are 4th and 14. It's 4th and 9 from the Baltimore 44. You're on their side of the field. Go for it. Get 9 yards. Continue the drive. Then with time left, if you get a touchdown, you cut it down to 10 points. That's a different story. But they didn't do that. They punted, and they're down 17. Then Derrick Henry rips off an 81-yard run, and then they get points, and it's over. It's over.
Thanks to Greg DeCruz for this $5 super chat. It's fitting that it's a creamsicle game coming up because that was Lehman Bennett coaching tonight. Wide receiver now, huge draft need.
Curse of the creamsicle. 4 straight losses since the 2009 creamsicle win. Josh Freeman over Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Who saw that coming? It's one of Raheem Morris's 3 wins that year. 3. I don't know. They've lost every throwback game since. So I don't know. I like the creamsicles. It's a cool look. It's fun. I don't know that it needs to be an every year thing if they keep losing in them. And I understand that this would be a second loss if they lose to Atlanta. We'll see what happens. Maybe the creamsicles give them some mojo. I don't know, man.
It's still a great looking jersey. The thing is, they got to pick they need to pick a better opponent. They need to pick I know it's the NFL any given Sunday. Yeah. They got to pick the most winnable game at home and do it for that one. And if they don't lose that one, then retire it. Thanks to Cali Bucs, $1.99 super chat. New NFL rules only allow 2 onside kicks. Bowles?
We were talking in the press box, all of us reporters kind of trying to scramble. Apparently there was a rule. There was a rule measure that was put forth, and it did not get passed that would limit onside kicks. It's 12:52 here a.m. Eastern time. We went right from the press conferences on to the podcast here for you all. We have to research this. There were reporters talking up in the press box. Some said that it is a rule. Some said that, nope, you can have unlimited onside kicks in the fourth quarter. I'm not sure what the rules are, to be honest. So I'm going to punt on this one.
Yeah, well, we'll have to rain check that one. I think it's kind of it's a very stupid rule that you should only have two. Like, I don't know if you keep trying to come back, like why limit it?
I agree.
Thanks to Joel El Regan with his $5 super chat. Prayers to Mike and Chris. We took a lot of L's tonight. Thank you. Thanks for your passion and honesty. You really do speak for the Pewter people. Well, thanks for the kind words. I mean, we try to keep it real.
Yeah.
It was a bad move by Todd Bowles, and just an awful game that went from bad to worse. And it honestly feels like the 41-31 loss is an afterthought compared to the injuries to Mike and Chris, and we'll see what's up with Tyke Smith and really the season moving forward. But thanks nonetheless for the kind words. Thank you to Bardic for the $10 super chat. Can the Bucs trade for a wideout?
Maybe. We'll see who's available. Sometimes that's not always the answer. It's not the panacea, right? I mean, with even Devontae Adams going to be reunited with Aaron Rodgers with the Jets, it didn't make that much of a difference in his first game. We'll see what happens as the season plays out. I don't know. I think that the Falcons game, if they lose this, I don't think there's going to be a trade. If they do beat the Falcons, there might be, Jason Light might be spurred to try to kind of save the season and get some more help from Mike Evans when he comes back. But here's the thing. You're not going to trade for a guy on Monday or Tuesday. He's going to come in and save the day for you on Sunday.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Monday now. So you're not going to bring in somebody on a Wednesday playing wide receiver and is going to learn Liam Cohen's offense and help you beat the Falcons on Sunday. It's just not going to happen. So right now they're going to have to ride with the guys they have. Maybe Raheem Jarrett's ready. We'll see. They certainly need him now. And we'll see what happens. But
there's no quick fix.
Yeah, no quick fix.
No quick fix. No replacing Chris Godwin either. Thanks to Aiden for this $1.99 super chat. Give me Devin over KJ any day. I mean, I'm not saying Devin White's not good. He's not good. They need something, and Devin White's not the answer. At this point, I'd try JJ Russell. I really would.
I would too. What do you got to lose? Devin White is not good. He went to the Eagles. He couldn't crack the starting lineup. Yeah. He was a healthy scratch. I mean, Todd Bowles said you're not good. Jason Light said you're not good. He goes to Philly. They say you're not good. I mean, he's not the same guy that he was in 2019 and 2020, folks. He's just not. And
even after getting cut, like no other team has signed him. Yes. Nobody jumped at the point to go get him.
Yes, if he was that good, he would be signed by now.
Yeah. Thank you to Advanced Sports Talk for this $5 super chat. We have enough depth to hold off until Mike Evans comes back. We have 3 running backs that can catch, a rediscovered tight end. Yeah, Kate Otten had a pretty good night.
Yeah, he did.
A defense that still generates turnovers.
The defense,
here's the thing. And it's what you said earlier. They are front runners when it comes to turnovers, too. I mean, they made some plays against Spencer Rattler and the Saints, but that's Spencer Rattler and the Saints. When they've gone up against veteran guys, they haven't gotten it done. They really didn't do anything against the Falcons. They couldn't get a turnover tonight. They had an interception or two against Jared Goff, but actually they had the one interception on Kirk Cousins, and they couldn't hold on to that lead.
That's right.
They haven't gotten the key timely interception that can change the momentum just yet, and I worry about that moving forward.
I agree. Well, folks, it's Tuesday. Y'all need a happy hour. My God, I need a happy hour. And the place to do it is the place that has the all-day happy hour on Tuesdays, every Tuesday, and that's Walk.
What an amazing comeback, Coach.
You're not kidding. I mean, we did lose the game badly, but coming to walk-ons afterward, the team got a much-needed win off the field.
Walk-ons for the win.
Tuesday happy hour all day. Wesley Chapel location, Lakeland location, Midtown Tampa location, including $5 Tito's. Boy, that sounds really good right about now. $3 happy hour pours, $3.99 domestic pints, $4 house wine, $5.49 22-ounce domestic draft. I'll take one of each, please. Starters, $6 fried pickles, small waffle cheese fry, $7 boom boom shrimp and queso dip, $8 gets you the boneless wings, or my favorite, the cheeseburger sliders. And if you can't make it there to walk-ons on Tuesday, then by God, get there on Wednesday and Thursday. They have 2 happy hours for you to choose from, 3 to 6 p.m. and 9 to close. So make sure you watch Thursday Night Football at walk-ons, and then Friday and Saturday, they've got college football galore. Saturday and Sunday, they got their game day specials. Pints $4.49, 22-ounce pours $5.99. That's Michelob Ultra, Bud Light, Budweiser, Heineken Silver 12-ounce cans, $5 neutral assorted cans, and it's just an absolute great place to watch football and get fed, and with some inflation-busting prices. We would be remiss, too, if we did not thank our Pewter Platinum members, Scott Federico, Raytho Gordon, Noah Parr, Scotty J, and Dave Anderson. Thank you all so much for your continued support for Pewter Report. I'm not going to have a Victory Monday show tomorrow, but we will have a Tuesday podcast for you as we get the latest updates from Todd Bowles about the injury situation. Folks, if you could do us a favor, you've been so great to stay up with us tonight and vent. We've been reading the comments. Even the ones we haven't posted, we're reading them. We're going through them. We are at 15,997 YouTube subscribers. We are 3 away from getting 16,000. You have been with us every single step of this journey. You are our Pewter people, whether you are Pewter Report TV channel members or not. We love you. We are here for you. We are the eyes and ears for you guys. This is your football team. We appreciate the trust that you put in us to deliver the news and the analysis as we see it. And, we're gonna laugh together. We're gonna cry together. We're gonna celebrate together, and we're going to go to walk-ons and drown our tears together. But thank you for hanging in there with us on nights like tonight. And the sun will rise again. There will be more football to be played. It just got more interesting. Maybe not better, but it got more interesting. And we'll see if these coaches and players can figure this out. We have a couple more super chats to get to here.
Yeah. 2 more super chats to get to, and yes, it will be a collective effort. Thank you to Dom Mazza for this $1.99 super chat. As Dom says, Bowles fixed defense. Wide receivers need to step up. Go Bucs. Prayers for CG14. Yep. Yeah, they're going to have no choice with the wide receivers. Somebody has to step up. Sterling Shepard has looked good at some points. We know he has the built-in chemistry with Baker Mayfield. I don't necessarily know how Todd Bowles is going to fix the defense. He's been stubborn. He's had things that worked, but again, like pressuring the quarterback is one of the most important things, and they've gotten pressure and yet still can't, it's not a
It hasn't been
thing.
enough to turn the tide.
Yes, exactly. It's been more of a coverage thing. Thank you to Rustaman for this $1.99 super chat. As they say, sell the house for Myles Garrett and make a run.
We'll see what happens. Again, I think the litmus test is that Atlanta game. If the Buccaneers lose that, I don't think they concede the division, but it's not enough to make Jason Light want to go out and force feed this thing to try to win the division, because it might not be winnable if they get swept by the Falcons.
And thank you to Brandon Mackey for this $13.99 super chat, who says $14 Canadian for one foe. Chris Godwin with the heart emoji was saying was going to say that they need to trade for an elite pass rusher, but seems like the season is on the verge of going down the tubes now with injuries. Not sure where they go from here.
We're going to find out. The beauty is with football, you got to turn the page quickly because you got another game coming up, and this is a short week for Tampa Bay. And it's an injury week with Mike and Chris not being available for the Buccaneers on Sunday, and probably Chris for the season. Very difficult night for the team. It's one thing to take an L on national television. It's another thing to play like crap. It's another thing to lose 60% of your offense, or I don't know what the percentages are in this thing, but it's not good. So we have a virtual availability with Todd Bowles tomorrow, Matt, at 4 p.m. It's interesting.
Oh boy. Okay. Well,
so we might push. Yeah, we'll push the podcast back to maybe 4:30, right? Let's do a 4:30 podcast tomorrow.
Yeah. It shouldn't take half an hour with both. So.
Yeah, maybe even 4:15. So we're going to go live the minute Bulls and press conference. How about that? We'll do that. So keep in mind, folks. You guys have been great in terms of signing up for Autograph, which is it's a fantastic app that's co-founded by Tom Brady, Bucs legend, Super Bowl winner, also played for the Patriots from what I understand. And you can get all of the Pewter Report news and all of our videos and podcasts on the Autograph Fandom Rewarded app. It's free to download and free to use, absolutely free. So download it for your Apple phone at the App Store and for your Android phone at the Google Play Store. And you can get rewarded for watching our videos and reading our stories. How cool is that? Then you earn points and you can redeem those for tickets to games and merch. So it's a fantastic way to kind of get rewarded for doing something that you already love doing. And you can also read other outlets' content on the Buccaneers. So let's say you're a Kansas State fan like me. I've got all of my news outlets in one app on the K-State page on Autograph Fandom Rewarded. So all we ask that you do is just use the promo code Pewter when you sign up. That gives us the credit for sending you to Autograph. So download it at the App Store or Google Play for your Apple iPhone and for your Android. And read Pewter Report news, watch those videos, rack up the points, and get rewarded in this free app. Free to download, free to use. Mention promo code Pewter when you sign up.
Before we sign off, Scott, even though it's been a night of terrible news and terrible things, apparently we just got to 16,000 followers and subscribers on YouTube. So
thank you so much.
At
guys.
1:04 in the morning, we are now at 16,000 subscribers. We appreciate that so much. Thank you to all of you that have subscribed or spread the word about pewterreport.com. Like we just said, it's been a tough night, obviously, with Mike and Chris getting hurt and the Bucs losing on top of that. So you guys are still rocking with us, and thank you so much for your support.
We love you guys. These nights are tough. Again, the sun rises tomorrow. There'll be another Buccaneer football game on Sunday. Got to hope for the best. Hope these coaches can figure it out. Hopefully these players rally for their fallen teammates and bust their ass and get a win. At least there's a running game. If you're looking for any silver lining or saving grace, this team is more balanced than it's ever been. And they got three guys that can tote the rock and catch it. That's going to help Baker Mayfield. He just has got to play under control, got to play within himself, try not to do too much, and try not to wear the Superman cape. He's got to just distribute the ball and pretend he's got Mike and Chris out there, and guys like Trey Palmer and Sterling Shepard and Jalen McMillan got to grow up fast. Sterling Shepard is an old cat. He's just got to play within himself. And Liam Cohen's got to figure this thing out. This is a new complex puzzle to solve, but I like what I've seen from Liam so far. Not going to throw the towel in with this team because of Liam Cohen and what he's been able to do so far.
Yeah, we've seen Baker be great this season, so he has it in him, and they're going to need it for Sunday's game against the Falcons. We have one more super chat to get to. Thank you to Serge for this $5 super chat. He says, might have missed it, but how serious do you think Mike Evans' injury is? It looks pretty serious. We'll have more of an update tomorrow, but it would be shocking if he played on Sunday, and there's probably a good chance he's out until after the bye week. So we're talking about the next 3 games.
Yeah, he was writhing in pain. I'm not sure how much of the TV view showed. It happened in the south end zone here right in front of us in the press box. Writhing in pain, and I was surprised that he got up and walked off the field. I thought they'd have to bring out the cart for him because he was in such agony. Can't blame the guy for dropping that touchdown. The minute he extended for it, he felt that hamstring. I hope it didn't pop, but would be surprised if it did.
Yeah, we'll find out more tomorrow. So until then, please make sure you follow us on all of our social media on X, Facebook, and Instagram at Pewter Report. And, of course, our YouTube channel is Pewter Report TV. Please like, subscribe. Thanks again for 16,000 followers. And leave a comment as well. That's going to do it for us this morning. So for Scott Reynolds, I'm Matt Matera saying we'll see you again tomorrow for another edition of the Pewter Report podcast. Out.